Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 7th, 2022 at approximately 6:21 p.m. PST. Well, things have been a little hectic. I'm curious, so I think I'm going to check, because what I don't know, and yeah, I've already started recording. By the way, this is a live recording, which means that when it comes to the video, I go back through and double check, make sure I got the date right, and that's where it is. Okay, if I got the date right, that's good enough for my end. Oh, look at that. I was just checking to see if I actually posted yesterday, which apparently I did. It was kind of a hectic day, but I will get into that part of it later. The big part from my standpoint is this. First and foremost, let us understand something. I returned to this lifetime for one primary purpose, and that is to pass on a simple message to everyone in existence that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, of course, that starts right here. Now, I've always claimed, it starts in your heart. Take a look at yourself. Look at what you've done. Look at what you're doing. Ask yourself a very simple question. Are you content with the way you've been doing things? If the answer is yes, carry on. If the answer, like so many people, is I'm not happy with my life, then it's time to really look at you. Okay, can you point the finger at other people, whether it's the neighbor, a relative, a stranger, a so-called elite, the politicians, the doctors? It doesn't matter. You can point to the religious people, you can point to God. The reality is you can point the finger anywhere you choose, but you're the one with the free will and the free choice to follow your path. Now, I strongly encourage you to do just that. There's only 3 laws I follow. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Now, those 3 laws, though first and foremost, compare those to any laws, any guidelines you follow. And I do believe you will find they all fit inside those 3. Now, here's the part I cannot prove. Okay. But those 3 laws were the only laws on the original tablets. Okay, in the Christian religion, when Moses came down from Mount Sinai, those 3 laws are the only laws that were there. I cannot prove it, but I can show you where it tells you. Can't tell you the exact chapter, or the exact verse, rather. But check Exodus chapter 1 and Exodus chapter 2. In there, you will find the first tablets that he brought down, he held close to his chest, and he never showed them to anybody. He shattered them on the ground because he was so disgusted with the behavior of the people that were waiting at the bottom for him. He never even showed the tablets to Aaron. Okay. Now, the reality is I cannot prove what was written on them, but those 3 laws are the only 3 I follow. Okay. When I'm looking at that, now, I've always held that I'm a bit of a dinosaur. I mean, heck, you take a look at, where is it? This. Now, I'm sure some of you my age will actually understand this. This thing here, this is what I call my database. Okay, this is why nobody can hack my database on the computer, because I don't keep it there. Okay, but I have finally, as of today, yesterday I picked up a brand new computer, just a tiny little thing, for no other purpose than to play Dungeons and Dragons. And all it's for is to replace the paper and the pencil that I've got. That I keep losing the order of which paper goes where. So I picked myself up. Finally, here I am, 58 years old. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was 13. And I finally picked up a computer to work with, not to play online. When I bought the computer, as I told the sales clerk, I don't need it online, ever, because it's only to replace a loose leaf pad. Okay, a loose leaf binder, that's all it's for. So we got it all set up, and I'm in the process of installing, of copying the information onto that computer so that by the time I actually game on Thursday, I will have it I will have the information all there. Okay, and I've got one more gaming character to put on there. And then the binders can go away. I'll use them for other purposes. But the key to it is this. You have to look in your heart. And you've got to ask yourself, are you content with the way your life is going? If the answer is yes, then you're in good shape. The odds are, if you're anything like I am, the answer is no. Okay. And the reason I say that is there are parts of my life I'm very content with. Okay. Those parts being the fact that I'm still dropping weight. Now, granted, my last week was a little rough. I only dropped 0.2 pounds. Yeah. Because I was at 207.4 last week. This week I'm down to 207.2. But the important factor is it's still a drop. Okay. Everything else is running fine. Well, within reason. But now it's time to get back to work. I started working when I get done this video. I'll be going the next step with the Yldrbac Chronicles, which I just started. Okay, which I just started doing that series. And if I get done that comfortably enough, then I may do another one from Races of the Worlds. Okay, the reality is, it's time for me to start pushing things and making things happen. Okay, I'm not content with my cash flow yet, but it is coming and I know what I'm doing with it. So it's just one step at a time. Those of you that have seen it before, that have looked at my past videos, my left-hand arm was not working at all to speak of. Now, I'm able to use it a little more often. By the way, a little more readily. That's something I'm working on as well. My weight is, I look at my life and I go, okay, there were things that I dropped. Okay, I dropped the ball very badly where it comes to communication with people and became extremely reclusive. Now what I've found is that it's difficult to get out of the house. This is something that, as one person put it, you might want to figure out how to do it. Okay, but I keep running into problems where I run into people that it just doesn't add up the way they're behaving. And by staying out of the limelight, as it were, I'm quite content that way. It keeps my stress level down, my blood pressure stays down. Net result, I'm healthier. Okay. Now, you wouldn't know it by the way that I wake up in the morning sometimes. I mean, there are days like last night was just ridiculous. I'd go to bed, pass out on the couch, slept for a couple hours, woke up, moved to the bed, slept for a couple hours, woke up, moved back to the couch, and then repeated the process. All in all, not a real restful sleep. But it did get me thinking very clearly this morning when I got up. As a matter of fact, I should have done that. I wonder if I've got it here. So I think I'm going to just check it while I'm here. Again, this is a live recording. Okay. Meaning, I take a look at it. Yeah, I got a whole pile of paperwork here. This is what happens when I get sidetracked. Okay, I'm just looking for one piece of information. Because it's sort of a case of something comes to mind and I go, okay, now I can postpone it. But the reality is that, I could postpone things and go, I'm not dealing with it. Right. But the reality is this is the way my life works. Very convoluted on occasion, but hey, what the heck. Got a lot of odds and ends. Most of this stuff has very little information on it, if at all. Right. But by going through it, I can flip through it and go, okay, that's the stuff that's got to be dealt with. Which is a bit of a pain in the neck on occasion. Needless to say, little scattered today, but hey, I'll work with it. How about you? Well, those are kind of necessary. Okay, that was 90% loose paper or empty papers. But these two little sheets, where it comes to your finances, to my finances, this is a tool I strongly recommend. Okay, now last month I haven't even done the calculations. I don't think. Yeah, that's it. This is going to be one of those scattered days that things are a little scrambled. Did we actually tally last month? February. Okay. Income, where are we? No, we did not finish tallying it. So that's okay. In any event, okay, I'll get to that tonight probably. But I do this because it does work. Okay. This little sheet here is, yeah, that's from February. Yeah, I haven't done it. Okay. These are the sheets I've got to deal with. Right now, this one is the one from February. Needless to say, we just finished February. Now, it said here we are. This one here. Oh, we did so. Look at that. I was mistaken. Okay, right here. This is the one for my company. Inner Voice Enterprises has legally generated a minimum of $600 by March 31st, 2022 at 23:59, aka 1 minute to midnight. This is to make sure that my company generates that much money. Aside from that, we have this one. Referring to my household, we have legally attained a minimum of $3,500 by March 31st, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight. I write these down, and as you can see, I don't put them on beautiful paper. I don't even write well for them. But I will tell you, keeping these handy on your desk wherever you work on finances is extremely beneficial. Okay, it is a way of staying focused, but it's also something that you've got to do. I cannot do it for you. I can tell you it's a tool I personally use, as evidenced by the fact I just pulled it up out of a stack of paper. Okay, it should be sitting someplace a little bit more visible. And I just got to figure out where, which will probably be right there. I've got a window over here that's got a frame on it that I can actually attach these to without any real big problem. Matter of fact, that's not a bad idea, but I will not do that while I'm on the phone, while I'm on this video. But you take a look at your finances because your finances are the backbone of your home. Okay, more to the point, they're the backbone of your house. If your finances are not paid, you're not going to be able to keep the utilities paid, your rent or your mortgage, whatever it is. So you keep your finances running smoothly, even if you don't have a lot. Now, I personally am not extremely well off. Matter of fact, I'm not well off at all. Not in my eyes. Although I don't live on the street, so this is a plus. Apparently we have a drinking problem. Don't run into that very often, but today's been a little scattered. Okay, I have decided, because my eyes for distance are not great, I have decided to put the money aside to pick these up. I just picked up the computer, so that punched a hole. But that was something that I wanted for me. It was a little bit of a bonus I took out of my income tax return. I figure I scrimped, I saved, I did what I had to. I got a little bit of a bonus, so it's only fair. Pay off what I require, help the people I can, and treat myself. So I did. Okay. And I do know of another chunk of money that'll be coming in that once again I will treat myself with when it comes in. Because the reality is, if you're focusing on just earning money to pay your bills, I will tell you you'll run into problems. And what I mean by that is it can get very depressing if you watch the money come in and all you're doing is paying your bills. You're not getting any bonus, any benefit from it, as it were. You're not getting that little trinket or that little gift that you desire for yourself, or for that matter, for a loved one. Okay, I'm a firm believer, absolutely buy for your loved ones. Absolutely treat them, and treat them well. Remember that thing about do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that if you're treating other people well, that will come back to you. Okay, I was really pleasantly surprised. I'm not sure why I was surprised, in all fairness. But I did, I finally got around to posting on Facebook that I did find somebody to settle and I did find somebody that I could actually, and I did clear it with them first. But I found somebody quite a while back now anyway. But I finally posted it on Facebook that yeah, I am actually not single. And no intention of being single again. Okay, I figure at some point, and it's a bit of a stretch, but if I outlive my other half at this point, yeah, I'll be single again. But I mean, I was really happy. My parents, they met in March. By August of the same year, they were married. 60 years later. I don't recall having a conflict, them having a conflict between them. I don't remember a fight between them ever. I'm sure they probably had them, but I don't recall one. Well, fortunately, the young laughs I've managed to connect with, we are now a year and a half in, and to date, we have never had a conflict. Yeah, we've had some stress points brought about by our own past, and everybody you connect with has their own past. You've got your own past. Whatever you went through in the past, you can't do anything about. And your partner certainly can't do anything about it. So it is very important that you are open with them about what you've gone through. But at the same time, if you're being open with somebody else about what you've been through, that other person also has to be open enough to realize that what you went through is that whole concoction of whatever it was, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. That is what made you who you are today. Okay, and since you can't change that side of it, okay, and you can't go back and alter what you've done, okay, all you can do, you can look at the past and go, I should have done this. You may be in the same boat I'm in, okay, and there is a point where it's no longer possible. Okay, I know for an absolute certainty that before my parents died, I should have put the connection together a little better. Spent more time with them because at this point I can't. Okay, because both of them have passed. In the here and now, this is the time to put your negative past to rest. This is the time to look at what you've left behind, at what you've neglected doing that you are looking at and going, I shouldn't have done that. Put the ego aside. Okay, and reach out and reconnect with that person. Okay, or those people. In spite of what you've been through, bear in mind they had their own issues. You've got to take responsibility for your own actions or inactions for that matter. Okay. I could have moved to, like, for instance, I could have moved to working on a computer a long time ago, as far as gaming goes. I finally decided I'm going to. And, I made that decision. I could have postponed it and thought it through a little more. And I went, no, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it. Right. So, did I connect with it? Absolutely. Okay. But as I told the technician that helped me install everything, I don't require the internet for this computer, so it's a very minimal computer. I mean, I didn't mind the price at all. 250 and 200, a little more than $250 for a brand new computer. It does exactly what I require it to. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but then I don't care. Okay, I'm not doing online gaming with it. So take a look at what you're aiming for. I can't show you what they are because, well, frankly, I can't reach any of them. But when I take a look at the stuff I've got going on, what is this? See, again, this is part of my database. I'm sure you people my age remember them. You take the information, put it on a cardstock, file it alphabetically, and keep it handy. If I run into a problem, I don't remember a phone number, I've got it right there. Yes, I've got a cell phone, they can be programmed. And sometimes I manage to remember how to do that, but I keep a backup just in case I run into a problem. Because I ran into an issue with the cell phone a while ago where I fried the poor thing. Okay, didn't drop it into a bowl of water. Didn't drop it on the ground. I just got really agitated and I cooked it with a biomagnetic pulse. Quite by accident, but hey, the poor thing didn't live. Well, that was near disaster. Put my coffee down without looking at it, and well, frankly, it was only half on the desk. And you take a cup of coffee this size and you put it half on the desk, one wrong move, and it all of a sudden ends up all on the floor. Not a pleasant use. But I did decide. I started working with things as far as my writing goes. I'm starting to get it moving properly in the way I desire it to move. Okay, I am striving to teach myself how to market. Much more importantly, around my house, I'm actually getting things started to go okay. Start in the corner and wipe out everything. Wipe out everything that doesn't belong there. The reality is, procrastination does not accomplish a whole lot. But it is something you have control over, and you're the only person that has control over it. Anybody can tell you it's got to be done. As I was told recently it was confirmed by one individual that I know of personally, and like they told me, they've been told for years that dropping their weight was medically required. Okay, if they desired to live any length of time, they had to drop the weight. Well, the sad part about it was that it wasn't until many years after they were first told that they finally got the emotional thing to say, I've got to drop the weight. Okay. And I got to, when I was talking to them, this would be a couple of years back when they said this. At the time, I was over 240, right? And I looked at it, I hit 246, and I took one look at it and went, I am not breaking 250. And I just made an emotional decision right there. I mean, the decision was, I've got to drop the weight. But it wasn't until I got that emotional drive that said, I'm not going there, that I managed to actually stop myself from gaining the weight. Started doing things to drop the weight. Net result, I'm now down to 207.2 as of yesterday. Okay, the thing was, it might have been the day before, but you get the idea. Okay, it's a question of picking a goal and deciding that's what I personally desire. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it. And as soon as you get that in mind, it does open all kinds of doors for you. Yeah, now this is another style. This is what I mean by having way too many sheets of paper. Okay. So it really boils down to taking a look at it, and this is all stuff. Half of these are sheets that I've actually got to I don't actually have to keep record of them, but I do have to get them turned in where they belong. Get them copied to my databases, because I'll tell you, when you're writing 32 books at the same time, and actually I think it's 33, when you're doing 33 books at the same time, you end up with a lot of notes that end up all over the place. Like you take something like this, it's notes, I don't need to show you what it is, but this is a sheet of stuff that I just don't require. I don't think. Nope. And then because of that, I can turn around, tear it in half, and go, I don't require it anymore, so I'm not using it. But I am quite seriously a really good pack rat. I'm very good at holding on to things I just don't require. So now what I'm doing, yes, I'm doing this while I'm online. But like I said, this is live. And by the way, that's where that went. Something very important. If you like the videos, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, because usually I have a lot of information coming out. Okay. Today is just, I was a little scrambled. I was a little scrambled yesterday. And today wasn't much better. So things have gotten a little off kilter. But because of that, this is one of those videos that isn't actually working out all that well as far as a definitive path goes. But take a look at what you're content with. This is stuff I'm not personally content with, so I'm actually doing something about it. Now, granted, I'm not doing it well, but welcome to the once in a while thing that happens. Most of the time, I try and keep at least somewhat organized. Don't know how well that works. That's up to you guys to figure out. What I do know is that because of the fact that I'm dealing with this sort of thing, I'm able to look in the mirror and go, I'm no longer content with it sitting here. And I figure if I show you that it's here, and this is kind of a weird way of doing it, I put this stuff together, I look at it, and I'm going to deal with this. Well, somehow that works out as kind of an impetus for me to say, hey, you're telling people you're going to do this. Do not make this work out the other way. I'm thinking about doing it and it never happens. Okay, that's called procrastination. And I absolutely have that down to a fine art. Okay, I did discover a long time ago how to postpone things. There's an old saying that goes, that literally goes, never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. Well, I wasn't even patient enough for that. I just simply went, never do what you can put off. And I used to be extremely good at it and still can be. Sometimes things will hit you and drive you emotionally sideways, as much as I do my best to stay focused. Okay, and because I was trained by one individual how to think on a primarily logic base, I get a little bit of a conflict on occasion, where logically I should do this, but emotionally I don't desire to, so it doesn't happen. And the reality is this: the path that change takes starts off in the etheric plane, where your soul says, this is what I require, or this is what I desire to do. Then it pulls it down. More often than not, people tend to bring that into the mind, and start going, how do I make this happen? But it's not till it gets to the heart and you get that impetus that drives you to make it happen, that it'll go back up into your brain and you'll figure out where the glitch was. And I've done this many times. Okay, I did this with a marketing program that I designed. I designed it on a logical base. Well, I designed it instinctively, but I tried figuring out from a logic base. And it wasn't until I got that emotional trigger that went, here's the problem, that I figured out exactly what the glitch was. So, as soon as I get finished modifying my financial tracker here, I will be implementing that. Okay, and that's just a commitment I've made to me because it's what I desire to do. Okay, now, because we're reaching the 30-minute mark, and I do apologize for things being a little scattered today, but the last couple of days have been horrendous. I'll explain that to you in a later date. Anyway, for the time being, I'm going to call this a day, and I will bid you a good night. Take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sake, stay positive.